Today I'm going to show you how to make this crochet jellyfish. You can find a list of materials needed in the description below. So we're going to begin with a magic ring. You're just going to take your yarn and lay it over, let me just move this out of the way. You're going to lay it over 4 fingers, hold it in place with your thumb, wrap it around and cross it over itself. You're going to pick up your hook and go under that first piece and over the next and just gently pull up a loop onto your hook. Carefully pull your hand out, pick up your working yarn, and now you're going to do a chain 1. Okay, and let's put a stitch marker in that chain 1 space just to mark it. It makes it easier to keep track of. Now working over both of these pieces, it's really important you work over both. We're going to put our hook right in the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, you've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. Okay, so we're going to work 5 single crochet right into our magic ring, being sure to work over both of those pieces of yarn. Okay, and just make sure it's all straightened out, count, make sure you've got your 5, and you're going to pick up that little shorter piece there and pull the ring closed. Okay, straighten out your work, grab your stitch marker to get that chain 1 space. We're going to close this round with a slip stitch, push your hook in, right into that chain 1 space, yarn over, and pull your hook right through both loops. Okay, now we're going to begin our next round. Take your stitch marker out. Okay, make a new chain 1 space and put your stitch marker in that new chain 1 space to mark the beginning of this next round. And we're going to work 2 single crochet into every single stitch all the way around. Okay, so find that first stitch there. And you're just going to push your hook, hang on. You're going to push your hook right into that first stitch. Have a look and make sure you've gone through the entire stitch. You should see that little opening like a little V. Okay. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook, go again right into that very same stitch. And we're just going to continue doing that, working 2 single crochet into every single stitch all the way around. And by the time that you get to the end, like back to your stitch marker, you should have a total of 10 stitches. Okay. Now we're at the beginning, so we're going to close this round with a slip stitch into that chain 1 space. Take out that stitch marker. Chain 1 to begin the next round and move that stitch marker into your new chain 1. Okay. Now we're going to look for that first stitch there. We're going to work 2 single crochet into the first stitch. And we're going to work 1 single crochet into the following. 2 single crochet into that next one. And 1 single crochet into the stitch after that. And you're just going to continue alternating like that all the way around. So 2 and then 1, 2 and then 1. When you get to the beginning of your round, you're going to close with a slip stitch in that chain 1 space and you're going to chain 1 to start the next round. You should have 15 stitches by the time you get around. Okay, so now we're ready to begin the next round. 2 single crochet in that very first stitch. 1 single crochet into each of those next 2 stitches. So we're just slowly increasing. Each round is going to increase by 5, okay? So after this round, you should have a total of 20 stitches. And you're just going to keep going. 2 and then 1 in each of the following 2. 2, 1 in each of the following 2. All the way around till you get to the beginning, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then you're going to come back and we'll start the next round. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do another increase round. So 2 single crochet in that very first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the following 3 stitches. Okay, and just going to continue on. So 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the following 3. Continue doing it all the way around, and then you're going to close with your slip stitch, chain 1, and then come back. All right, so for this next round, we're going to do 2 single crochet in the very first stitch, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of those following 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're just going to continue doing that all the way around. So 2 and then 1 in each of the following 4, going to round to the beginning, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then come back for the next round. All right, so we're going to do 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then I'm sure by now you've guessed it, we're going to do 1 single crochet into each of the following 5 stitches. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're just going to go ahead and continue doing that all the way around, close of the slip stitch, chain 1, and come back. All right, so now here we are. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay, so we're going to do 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the following 6 stitches, and this is going to be our last round of increase. So you're just going to go ahead and do that all the way around, working your 2 single crochets into 1 stitch and then 1 into each of the following 6, and you're just going to continue doing that all the way around like all the other rounds. And when you get back to the beginning, just lost my cap for 1 sec. I'm just finishing this up. Okay, so you're going to go ahead, do that all the way around, close with your slip stitch, chain 1, and then come back and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so here we are. We're now going to work 1 single crochet into every single stitch all the way around. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and do those rounds for a total of 3. So this round and then 2 more, you're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. Do that for each round for a total of 3, and then come on back, we'll move to the next step. Okay, so now that you're ready for that next step, we're going to go ahead and chain 2 for this next round. Okay, place a stitch marker into that second chain of your chain 2 space. And I just want to show you something here. So we've been working into our stitches up until now, okay? But if you were to wrap your hook around here, this is the post, okay? So we're going to be working front post single crochets, but we're working around not this round, but the previous round. So you're going to push your hook in, wrap around that post, okay? Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. So you're working your single crochet the exact same way as you have been all this time, but you're working around each post from the previous round. So these are front post single crochets working around the post from the previous round. So you're just going to go ahead and do that all the way around. You'll see this little flap starting to form. Okay, you're going to do that all the way around, just 1 front post single crochet around every post from the previous round. Close your round with a slip stitch in the top of that chain 2 space and then come back. Okay, so now you're going to chain 2 to begin this next round. Let's go ahead and move that stitch marker up to the top of that chain 2 space. I'm just going to fix the view. There we go. All right, so go ahead and put your stitch marker in. And we're going to double crochet in that first stitch. So yarn over your hook. You're going to push your hook through that stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So now you've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. You're going to go ahead and do that again in the very same stitch. That chain 2 we did is counting as a double crochet, okay? So we're going to do another double crochet in that same stitch. All right, and now we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. So how do I do that? Push the hook through, yarn over, pull right through the loops on your hook. In this next stitch, we're going to double crochet 3 times into that very next stitch. Okay, and this is how we're getting kind of that like wiggly effect of our jellyfish. All right, so 3 times double crocheting into that same stitch, and now we're going to slip stitch into each of those following 3. All right, so we've done our 3 double crochet, and now we're going to slip stitch into each of the next, 2 stitches. Okay, so slip stitch in the next, and back to our 3 double crochet. And we're literally just going to go ahead and keep alternating all the way around like this, working 3 double crochets into 1 stitch, and then slip stitch into each of the following 2. And you're just going to continue all the way around. See that little look there? The little wiggly, all the way around, close with a slip stitch, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that, we're going to take the stitch marker out, pull up a little bit of yarn here, and we're going to fasten it off. And just go ahead and pull the rest of that tail end through to secure it. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and find that seam there and reattach our yarn. All right, so go ahead and make your starting loop and put that on your hook, and then you're just going to go right ahead and pull it through, and we're going to chain 1. Okay, go ahead and get your stitch marker into that chain 1 space. Okay, and we're going to single crochet decrease. So we're taking 2 stitches and we're going to turn them into 1. So push your hook in that very first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Hold on to it and push your hook in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. And now, let me just go ahead and tighten that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches, and now it's just 1. So we've taken 2 stitches and made it 1. And we're going to single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And when you finish this round, you're not going to end with 5. I think it's like 2. That's fine. All right, so keep on going into each of your next 5. Now we're going to single crochet decrease again. Okay, so you're going to push your hook in that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Push your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and then you're going to single crochet once into each of the next 5 stitches. And you're just going to keep on doing that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, and come back. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet decrease to start this next round. Single crochet once in the following stitch. Another single crochet decrease. And then 1 single crochet in the following stitch. You're going to repeat that around and then come back. All right, so now that you've pretty much finished all of that so far, this is a good time to attach the eyes. Right now I've got these cute little eyes that have the little knobs at the back here. I've got the safety fasteners. There's links in the description below if you wanted to get these off of Amazon. That's where I got them from. So just go ahead and place those where you want them to be, and then secure on that little safety fastener at the back. All right, and then grab the other one and Doesn't really matter how they're spaced. You could just put them however you want. I just think this looks cute. Not really any rhyme or reason. I just made sure that they're even on the same line. All right, go ahead and attach that. Perfect. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and just work a single crochet decrease consistently all the way around. This next round is going to be just all single crochet decrease. So you're just going to keep on going and work your single crochet decreases completely all the way around until you get back to the beginning there, where you're going to close with your slip stitch and then come back. All right, so just give yourself a bit of a tail end here for a moment. Take your hook out. We're going to stuff our jellyfish body now. So go ahead and just take as much polyfill or whatever it is that you're choosing to stuff your work with. Push it in there. I like to just make sure it's going to shape well. Sometimes I haven't stuffed it enough and it gets really lopsided really easily. I like to stuff it really well. So if you need to add a little bit more, you can do that. I love this yarn. It's so incredibly soft. I'm just grabbing more stuffing. Just going to push that in. All right, so that's good. I'm happy with that. So stuff yours until you're happy with it. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. So get your scissors and you're going to fasten off with a fairly generous size tail end because we're going to use this to close that opening. Be careful with this yarn when you are closing the opening. It snaps very easily. It feels like a thick yarn, but it's really not. It's a very thin string inside there. So grab your yarn needle and go ahead and thread that. And we're just going to literally weave the tail end in and out of every single stitch, all the way around, just in and out. Okay. And once you get back to the start there, you're just going to go ahead and give it a tug like a drawstring to pull that opening closed. But as I said, you're going to want to be really careful pulling on it. I have snapped my yarn one too many times. All right, so then just secure it with your finger and weave underneath and over top of that opening. And make sure you tie it off in a knot as well. So I do it a couple times in and out, and then I'll just kind of swoop it through and then push my yarn needle right through the middle to kind of knot it and secure it. And just do that, you're just really just weaving the tail end in and out randomly to secure it, knot it a couple times, and fasten that off and hide it. Okay, so you've got your little jellyfish body done, and we're going to move on to the tentacles. So you're just going to grab your yarn and make a starting loop. I keep grabbing scrap ends there. All right, just getting my starting loop, wrap it around, tie a little knot off there, and get it onto your hook. Leave a bit of a tail end because it'll make sense in a minute, but you're going to use that to tie it on to the body. All right, so get that on your hook, and you're going to chain 35. So just yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. And you're just going to keep on going until you get to a chain of 35 or however long you want it to be, and then come back. All right, so now you've got your chain of 35. We're going to work in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to work 3 single crochets into every single chain all the way down. So starting in the second one from the hook. So here I am working my second and third. And then going into that next chain, I'm going to work another 3 single crochets. And the reason we're working 3 single crochets into every single chain is because that's what it's going to make the work start to twist on its own. And it gives that really cute jellyfish, I don't know, call it tentacles, legs, whatever, I don't know. I guess octopus would be tentacles. Even in my pattern, I've called it tentacles. This pattern is very similar to an octopus, I find. I used to make those little preemie octopus. Anyway, it's pretty similar, but I guess just not as many of these on a jellyfish as there is on an octopus. So keep on going, and you're just going to keep on working 3 single crochets in every chain and then come on back. All right, so now you've got that done. We're at the end here. Pull a bit of a generous tail in, not too much, but enough that you can work with a little bit. Fasten it off, and this is the part that I was talking about where it's going to make sense why I wanted you to leave a bit at the start as well, because we're going to use this to tie it on to the body. If your kids are anything like my little guy, my littlest one, he literally holds on to like one of these jellyfish like things and swings it around. So I like to make sure it's really secure. Yarn, go ahead and get your yarn needle on there, and just randomly wherever you want it to go, pull that through. Get the other one, do the same thing, obviously not through the exact same loop because then it would just fall right through. But pick another stitch underneath there to fasten it. All right, and then you're literally just going to tie it in a couple of knots and then cut the strings, and you can tuck them in or whatever, they hide well. That's what I love about this yarn as well. Can tie it off and then fasten it off. And you're literally just going to keep on doing this for however many of these little jellyfish, I don't even know what you call them. Do you call them tentacles? Do you call them little jellyfish legs? I don't know what they are. But anyway, you just make as many as you want to. I personally, for mine, make 6. I think that's plenty. So go ahead, do that, fasten off your strings. And so that's pretty much it. You're just going to go ahead and repeat that for as many times as you'd like to. And that is your completed crochet jellyfish. I hope that you enjoyed this pattern. Please take a look at the helpful links in the description below. And please also don't forget to like and subscribe.